Welcome! In front of me is a Xiaomi 14 Ultra, and today I'll show you how you can go through the setup process of this phone. So when you boot it up for the very first time, you should be presented with the same screen as you can see on my phone, and from here we can just press on the arrow, find our desired language from the list. Now by default it probably selects the correct one for you, as it's choosing it based on the region that you are located in. But I'm going to change it to English, and then we can select the arrow to go forward, choose your region. Again, it selected correct one, so I'm going to just go further, which presents us with terms and conditions. You can read the user agreement and privacy policy by just clicking on each one of those. At the end of the day, you do need to select the box at the bottom that you've read and agreed to it, and then you can go to the next page. Now here, the device will start checking for a SIM card. This step is completely optional. You don't need to insert a SIM card if you don't want to right now. So I'm just gonna skip it. And then next we have the Wi-Fi connection page. Now for me the device is locked, so I need to verify it, and therefore I also need to sign into my Wi-Fi or insert my SIM card to connect to mobile network. Normally that wouldn't be the case, but I did reset this device and locked it, so I will need to go through a verification process. So I'm gonna quickly connect. Now with that being said, you can choose to skip connecting to Wi-Fi typically, and if you choose to not insert a SIM card and skip the Wi-Fi connection page, then you will, number one, have the page with date and time show up throughout the setup process, but you won't see the Google login page. So something to keep in mind. Now for me, the device will start checking if it's locked, or first it's gonna let me choose if I want to copy apps and data. So that's completely up to you if you want to or not. I'm gonna select don't copy. Now in your case you will see the Google login page if you decided to connect to network. For me, I do need to verify it, so once I do so, I'll then see, there we go, this page. So from here I'm gonna again select skip, and this presents me with Google services. We have three different ones, like the location, scanning, and sending user and diagnostic data. If you don't want any of those, you can turn all of those off. Then go to the next page. Which allows us to select our search engine. Obviously, whatever you do, probably you don't want to select Bing. I have a pretty decent choice right here. I'm just gonna click on whatever. There we go, good enough. From there we can then choose our screen lock. We have three different options. We have a screen lock as a PIN, pattern, or password, fingerprint, and face recognition. Now when using either one of those two, fingerprint or face recognition, or both of them at the same time, you are always required to select a physical way of unlocking your device. That'd be PIN, pattern, or password. And the reason for that is if something would happen to your biometrics, meaning your face or your finger, you would lose access to your device. Obviously, both of those can happen at the same time, so that wouldn't be too nice, just because, for instance, maybe you were in an accident, you can no longer access your device. Therefore, that would leave you with the screen lock as a PIN, pattern, or password to unlock your device, which wouldn't be affected by your biometrics. Now, I'm gonna skip this. Next, we have some review additional apps. Okay, let's go further. Basic settings. We have here a couple of things that might seem like they are repeating. So location, we had one already. Now the difference is these are from Xiaomi. Now Xiaomi wants to rip you off from all of your data. So again, I'm just gonna disable these. Now I do want to point out to one thing, which is the personalized ads. Which basically just gathers data on you and then sells it, and then also you get garbage ads based on your interest, which that would entail that your device is literally listening to you to give you those, as some of those ads are based on what you're talking about, which implies that the phone is listening to you, which is absolutely creepy. So I do recommend turning it off. And the reason I'm pointing that out and just kind of like talking about this specifically, even though it's nothing new, is because the way Xiaomi decided to go about it, as they do with every one of their devices, I can turn off all of those, right? No problem. Are you sure you want to turn off this garbage? And then they do also another bullshit tactic, which is a reverse psychology. Typically, the thing that you expect to agree with is this button, right? Blue always confirms your decision, but again, no, because it needs to be on the other freaking side. So you keep it on. And I hate this, considering this device ain't cheap. There should be zero reason for them to do any kind of data gathering on a device that costs over $1,200. But there you go, they don't care. Give us your money and your data. Anyway, now that I kind of went on a bit of a rant, we can progress further, and remember, disable this, it's absolutely useless. You can go to the next page, which is font settings, which is something new. So here you can select the font that you want to use. We have two different ones. You can tap on them and immediately see the differences. I'm gonna stick with the default one. Then we have Set Up Your Lock Screen. This is a carousel, or that's how it's called, and it gives you this kind of random wallpapers that will show up throughout your whenever you wake up your device. So it's gonna showcase this. If you have, let me just get rid of my notifications. So if you have something like your phone and you have a lock screen and you press the power button but not unlock it, it will show you different wallpaper every single time. It has its preset selection of wallpapers, which you can tailor a little bit, but I'll be honest, most of those don't really tickle my pickle because they are just absolutely random. Here it gives you the best case scenario right here. So you have things like the volcanoes, beaches, and animals, but it goes to like random people that I have no idea who they are, or carrying suitcases, architecture. So some of those might look a little bit odd. So I personally don't like this. Next, we can select our home screen. We have two options, Classic and the App Drawer. Classic is more classic towards like iPhone users, not Android users. Android users would call this Classic, which is the App Drawer, and that is what I'm going to select. Now, that being said, there's an additional option for your home screen, which is Simple Mode, but it's only accessible through settings and it's not visible right here. So if you want to have bigger or smaller icons, or not icons, but like basically you can fit less icons on the screen, have them spaced out in bigger intervals, and it's just generally kind of designed more towards elderly people, then you can enable that in the settings. Now, by selecting our home screen, we can basically finish up our setup. Just let's give it a second for preparing system, because it didn't have time to do that before. Setup complete. And as you can see, there is our home screen with the device fully set up. So, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.